Okay, we're going to have a look at the process of creating a Zoom meeting in one subject site in Brightspace using the Zoom LTI, so the online meeting Zoom tool that we find inside the communication menu. And after we've created that meeting, we'll look at what happens firstly to the calendar in the subject site and then getting that same meeting into another subject site. So for example, if you're dealing with a paired subject or a site where you want students in different subject sites to get access to the same Zoom meeting, it is now possible with Zoom to do that. So let's go through the process of scheduling a meeting first. So going into the communication menu in this site, I'm going into online meeting Zoom. It's now loading the Zoom integration with Brightspace. So this means it's talking to my Zoom account and then opening up the screen that will show me meetings that have been scheduled so far in this subject. There are none in there yet. And it's where students will be able to come to join meetings and also access the recordings after the fact. So I'll go through the process quickly of scheduling a new meeting, and we'll call it, let's say, weekly online tutorial, just as a sample. And I'm going to create a recurring meeting. So maybe I'll start it happening next Tuesday, for example. And we're going to set it for 7 o'clock at night. That tutorial will go for an hour. It is going to be a recurring weekly tutorial, so I'm going to change the recurrence to weekly. It is happening on a Tuesday. It's interesting that it pre-selects the current day that you're on, but I don't need that. And what I'm going to do is actually choose when I want this to finish. What we have noticed is if you choose this option here of identifying how many occurrences you want, it doesn't necessarily create all of them inside Brightspace. Seems to be a bit of a bug, so I would stick to identifying an end date for the session. So if I was turning around and saying I want this to go until the end of October, so maybe the 28th, something like that, those are the only settings I need to worry about at this point. I generally leave on that students can join the meeting before me, but I don't record the meeting automatically, and that people are muted when they come in, so that's an opt-in for audio. So if I hit save, this is now going to create that list of Zoom meetings. The first screen I see is a summary of the meeting that I've created. Okay, I can select the Home tab up here and it will show me a list of all of those meetings. They'll be across multiple pages, so I can go through onto the other pages if I need to see those other dates. But they're now ready for students in this subject site to come and access, and then as I said, after the fact they'll be able to go into the Cloud Recordings tab and view them. Now the piece of information I need, or will need shortly, is the meeting ID from this particular series of Zoom meetings. So I'm going to highlight that here and copy it. And then what I'm going to do firstly is jump back to my subject homepage. So if I click on the heading here, it launches the homepage. And I just want to see what's happened to my calendar in terms of that Zoom meeting being captured. So the first one, if you recall, I created to start on the 2nd of July. I'll see that my events under the mini-cal have now been tailored to the 2nd of July, so I can see the weekly online tutorial. If I open that event, it provides the students with not only the information around the event, but the link to join the Zoom meeting. So this subject site is now taken care of. That's fine. I want to look now at getting that Zoom meeting into a second subject site. That process is really simple. I'll open up a different site. So in this case, this is my master site, but it can be any other subject site as long as it has the Zoom online meeting tool in it. And to import, we go up to the top right here where these three dots are and click on Import Meeting. It's asking for the meeting ID. So if I copy and paste that in there, so Control V to paste, import the meeting, I get a message that says success, and now all of those meetings have been imported into this second subject site. Additionally, if there were any recordings associated with this meeting ID already, they would also be imported into the Cloud Recordings tab. So if you've already run some meetings and you want to bring it across to another site, that's fine. Keep in mind it will bring across any of those recordings as well. Now I've done it with 2 sites, and in this second site that I've imported it into, let me just check the calendar, and there's my 2nd of July meeting as well. So it's updated not only the online meeting Zoom links, etc. for the students, but it's also updated the calendar in the second site as well. And in fact, if you even wanted to import this into a third subject site, I could repeat exactly the same process. This is now a sandbox, but it's just a third site. Import the meeting, paste, and I'll have exactly the same result. Success, there are all the meetings, and the calendar on this third site additionally will be updated as well. So you can see there that the process for importing a Zoom meeting from one site to another and understanding the impact it has on the calendar in each site is pretty straightforward with the Zoom integration into Brightspace.